Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Natalie. I'm a licensed esthetician and business owner of The Beauty Base. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. And also thank you so much for all of the love and support on my previous videos. Thank you so much for all of the likes, comments, and subs. Honestly, it's kind of overwhelming to see all those numbers go up, and it's just kind of crazy because I would have never thought I'd be, getting all of this. Like, I don't know, it's just crazy to me. But anyway, I am back with another video. In today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to properly do a Brazilian wax. I'm going to touch on some of the speed waxing techniques that I personally do and that I have learned. So if you're interested in watching that, just keep on watching. Okay, so before I show you guys how to perform a Brazilian wax, I'm going to show you guys two ways to apply the wax itself. So one way is the lay and swoop, and basically you want to gather all your wax off your stick and then basically just glide it onto the area and then swoop for that tab. You can obviously go over the area so you can better off that tab for you to get the best removal possible. The next one is the pencil method. This method, I like to have my pointer finger on top of the stick like this and just apply pressure like so. I like to do this method on basically any type of thicker hair. If there's a lot of hair, I like to just do this method. I feel like this is the best method to add as much pressure as you possibly can. And this method is more reliable when you want to get all of the hair in one go. Compared to this one, you'll see probably a little bit of stragglers, but it is normal. So now that I showed you guys two ways, I'm going to show you guys how I do the Brazilian wax and basically how to speed wax. So typically, what I do first is I like to do both the sides in the beginning. So obviously take all your wax out and really just get all of those hairs on the sides. Typically there is a curve right there, so it's not going to lay perfectly straight like this. So just get ready for that. And like I said, just gather all of that and just swoop. And like that. While these two dries off, I like to just start on the mound. And I typically do the mound with the pencil method. And I just kind of apply it like this. I really work that wax into the hairs. And obviously you do want to just swoop in like that. So I typically like to apply this first strip kind of at an angle, only because if you want to pull it right here, you're basically going to be pulling whatever hair is on this side. So typically whenever you're applying it upwards, you're kind of creating that tab that's way easier to just remove it because there's barely any hair over here. So now that all of these strips are dried off, typically you want to remove them by whatever order you applied them. So I did apply this one first, so I'm just going to remove that one that way, and then remove this one this way, and then this one that way. Now for these next couple of strips, you can either, depending on whether or not they are a regular wax client or if they're just a beginner, it really determines on how you get the labia strips. So typically when they're beginners, I like to get the labia strips in two pieces, rather than if they're a regular, I like to do just one whole piece in the labias. This middle portion is going to be their most sensitive area, so you do want to take that in consideration. And so that's why I typically do the smaller strips for the beginners or the newbies, and the bigger strips for the regulars, because obviously they know what to kind of expect. So I'm just going to show you guys basically what I do for beginners. Like I said, I like to just put them into sections. I like to break them down. So typically I'll do this side here, make that little strip and that little easy tab, like that. Then, while this one dries up, I'm going to do the top of the mound on the other side. And now that these are dry, you want to remove them basically the opposite direction. So that one will be removed upwards and this one will be removed that way. And whatever you do on one side, you obviously want to do on the other. So I am going to do this portion here now that this wax strip is gone and there's no hair there. So again, pencil motion. You just want to work that wax in there so that it'll assure that all of the hairs will come off in one go. And make sure that you are applying pressure because that is the main factor if you want to grab all of the hairs. So now that all of the hair here is gone, I'm going to do the top of the labia strips. And I basically just do a bigger strip here. So let's just pretend that these are dried up already. Obviously, to remove them, you do remove them the opposite direction of when you applied them. And lastly, obviously, there is just this portion on that side. And you just want to, again, apply pressure and get that tab going. I think one thing's for sure, especially for beginner waxers, they are scared to apply pressure. Honestly, I was too, but you are going to break the wax stick before you hurt a client. So make sure you're adding that pressure, make sure you're really getting that wax to, recognize that hair in order for you to actually remove everything all at once. And then as this one dries up, obviously you want to remove it upwards. And typically most of the hair, typically after all of those strips, most of the hair is pretty much gone. You can either do cleanup strips or you can just tweeze off the little hairs that are left. Typically, whenever you do cleanup strips, you want to apply that wax basically the opposite of how you applied the first initial strips. So for the first initial strips, you want to apply them in the same pattern as the hair is growing and then removing it the opposite direction. And so basically for the cleanup strips, you kind of want to reverse that. So whatever way the hair is going, so say that it's going, this way. You want to apply it kind of against the hair and remove it basically the same way of the hair pattern. And that typically gets most of the hairs. And there you have it. After I got trained, I literally watched like a dozen of YouTube videos and I was really studying how each person wax and how differently everyone wax depending on the client. And honestly, just keep on watching those videos, keep on learning, keep on taking notes, and you'll definitely perfect the technique. And yeah, I'm so glad that I can help you guys with learning how to do a new skill, whether you are a at-home waxer or you are a professional yourself. Honestly, good luck, and I know that you can do it. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.